Welcome back to Jordan Jesse Go. I'm Jesse Thorne.
And I'm Jordan Morris.
You know, Jordan, St. Patrick's Day is coming up.
Yeah. Well, actually, I mean, will St. Patrick's Day have happened by the time this is...
I don't even know what St. Patrick's Day is, honestly. And my stepmother actually from Ireland.
Anyways, well, here's...
Can I tell you one... Can I interject one thing?
Sure.
Actual Irish people don't really care about St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, and I think that actually will play into what I want to talk about. And I just have a word... I just have some... If you're planning on going out and celebrating St. Patrick's Day, here's just something I want you to keep in mind. And I just want to put out, and I'm all for celebrating St. Patrick's Day. I mean, I think going out and being boisterous and getting drunk with your friends is a great thing to do. You should absolutely do it. But there's kind of a larger issue here, and it's that...
Jordan, let's unpack this backpack.
Right. Yeah. This is a weighty, dense issue.
This is an issues-oriented broadcast, by the way.
Okay. Here's the thing, white people. Unless you do actually have an interesting genealogy, like, if one of your parents is from South Africa or something, or if you are actually to like genealogy charts, if you actually go down to the Hall of Records and research your, great-great-great-grandparents, if you have find out what your family crest is, that sort of thing. If you're actually into the historical part of it, fine. If you actually have an interesting lineage, fine. If not, just shut the fuck up about your ethnic background. Please, you sound so stupid when you do it. Like when you go, oh, I'm a little German, a little French, a little Welsh, and a 16th Cherokee. What are you? What are you? And then people just list these arbitrary lists of countries. Like, I'm a little Russian, a little Dutch, a little, I mean, it's just so dumb, and I feel like that all comes out on St. Patrick's Day, especially. Everyone's like, I'm Irish. That's why I'm drinking. I'm Irish. I'm like, oh, look at
the Irish.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand. I mean, I guess I kind of understand the instinct behind that, but like...
The instinct Jordan, do you want me to explain to you simply what the instinct behind it is? People are white. Uh-huh. They run the country.
Right.
They're in an astonishing position of privilege. And they feel a little bit guilty about it. So one day a year, they justify their existence by pretending to have some connection to some kind of oppression.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely a big part of it.
And to be clear, this is oppression. This is oppression that happened 100 years ago. This isn't contemporary oppression. The anti-Irish lobby is no longer active in the United States.
Right.
I'm pretty sure you can, if you're Irish, you can even get into the Klan these days if you want to.
I mean, but Irishness aside, like I'm wondering, I understand being proud of your background, where you're from, but if it's not real, if you've never been to visit your great grandparents in Russia. Like, why are you talking about it? Like, why are you holding it up as this thing,
Why aren't you talking about your pride that your parents were born and raised in Fresno?
Right, yeah, exactly. It's like, I mean, come on, I could, but at least that's real, Like, at least that's an actual thing. It's like, maybe there's not a lot to say of Biloxi, Mississippi, where my mom was born. There's not a lot to talk about. Maybe there is. Perhaps it's a beautiful country. I've never been. But, and yes, that's not as interesting as saying I have roots in, Deutschland or, it's something like that. Granted, that's not as interesting.
I think that's a kind of dog.
Yeah. I fully agree with you. That's not as interesting, but at least it's real, and I can say something about it.
Now, I want to be clear.
Although I
here.
guess I've never even been to Biloxi. So
I was in an estate sale over the weekend of a Russian girl who was, I think, I don't know if her brother. Everybody seemed pretty happy, so I'm guessing nobody died. Maybe somebody moved back to Russia or something like that. Mm-hmm. She was talking about how she had just signed up for ukulele classes at the Japanese Cultural Center.
Okay.
Now, if you are Japanese and you are taking ukulele classes at the Japanese Cultural Center, by all means, brag about your ethnicity, because that's great. That's fantastic. If let's say you're Jewish and you're always going down to the JCC to hear a lecture on the history of Jewish humor from Alan Zweibel.
Sure.
Like, that's great. That is the kind of
klezmer concert.
Yeah, if you
ahead.
If you enjoy going to a klezmer concert, then by all means, that I encourage. However, if you are seventh generation American or something, and you're trying to tell me that you're drinking on St. Patrick's Day because you're Irish,
yeah.
No, at this point you have to let that go.
Also, if you have the Fighting Irish tattoo, get that covered up. Make it an Applebee's logo or something, because it's probably more accurate as to something that has to do with your culture.
Actual cultural background. Now, I will give an exception. Here are my exceptions. Anyone who can actually play a penny whistle. If you can competently play a penny whistle, then you can claim Irish heritage.
Sure.
Okay?
Jigs.
If you can do a jig,
yeah,
there's an exception. You can claim Irish heritage. Okay? If you have simmering religious hatred,
yes,
for either Catholics or Protestants, you can claim Irish heritage. Okay? There are exceptions to this.
Right.
If you or your parents was born in Ireland, then I say, by all means, claim Irish heritage. Mm-hmm. But Irish isn't the only manifestation of this issue.
No.
I think probably the top manifestation of this issue would be American Indian.
Yes, that is, I think, the chiefest abuse in the listen to what a mishmash of cultures I am.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think many white people in this country claim American Indian heritage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because it stands out amongst your list.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like if I said, I'm like a lot of British and a lot of German, and my grandfather is a quarter Native American.
Right.
Like if my grandfather was a quarter Native American, but like by the time it got to me, it doesn't matter anymore.
Nothing to do with you. Nothing. It's not a part of who you are. Like, no. I mean, it's so. I mean, especially like this is like when this is coming out of someone who someone plays on an ultimate frisbee team.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't against ultimate frisbee either. I just want to be clear about it. But I'm saying that this, like, how do these things have anything to do with your life? You know,
like one thing, for example, that has much, much, much more to do with my life is that my grandparents were from Kansas, and you don't see me going around to people talking about how my grandparents were from Kansas.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a totally outrageous situation, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. So please, I mean, in
fact, I'm going to go so far as to do this, Jordan. I'm going to establish a cutoff point.
Okay.
If you are 1/4 Native American, you can talk about being Native American. If one of your grandparents, somebody who was actively involved in your life, one of your grandparents was a full-blooded Native American, then you can talk about that, because it was an actual that culture was a significant part of your life. Otherwise, shut your yap. You don't have to deny it. I'm not saying you have to write it out of the history
If
books.
someone asks, are you a 16th Native American? You feel free to say yes, but otherwise, I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah, I don't want to hear a joke about it when you go to an Indian casino.
No.
Like, well, I guess maybe they'll let me win because I'm 1/16th Native American.
If you're at a bar and you don't say anything about love 'em fire water.
No, absolutely.
That's awful.
That's horrible.
Don't do that.
That's horrifically
I've heard
bad.
that before.
Really?
Yes.
No.
It seems like kind of a sub thing of these people talk about their weird heritage just to sound more,
colorful.
What's the world? Yeah, colorful, and B, to like as an excuse to get drunk, like like, hey, look at the Irish, I'm drinking a beer, like you don't need an excuse to get drunk.
And
just do it,
And to be clear, specifically involving negative ethnic stereotypes about the ethnicities.
And here's this other thing that I'm having a hard time wrapping my brain around. Like, everyone uses...
Hey, Jordan.
Yeah.
I'm 1/4 Swedish. Let's go get wasted.
Right, exactly. And also another thing that applies to this is eating a lot. Everyone thinks that their culture
Just loves
is the
to
one
eat.
that eat. Like, you know, I have my Mexican grandparents, I eat a lot. My Jewish grandma, I eat a lot. Everything that you can just say is my something grandma, I eat a lot. And for some, like, no, that's just
Grandmas.
Yeah, it's
That's
grandmas.
what grandmas are like.
Grandmas feed you a lot.
Because it's all they have left.
Yeah, but no, everyone seems to think it's some byproduct of, you know, it's some byproduct of a culture.
Okay, so what can't you wrap your head around, Jordan? I cruelly cut you off.
Oh no, that's it. That eating thing.
Do you feel like that satisfies our ethnic rant portion of this week's Jordan Jesse Go?
I should hope so. If it doesn't, what more do you people want?
Can I ask you, what do you do for St. Patrick's Day?
I typically don't.
Do you go drink green beer?
Don't go out and celebrate it. Although I will be in Austin for St. Patrick's Day for the South by Southwest, so I think I will probably drink some green beer.
I think people might be pretty fucking wasted.
Yeah,
that's my prediction.
I think that's
South by Southwest and St. Patrick's Day.
I'll definitely report on that when I come back.
There's probably going to be like a Pogues concert.
Yeah, there will probably be a Pogues cover band. If
just
not
to
the
be
actual
specific,
Pogues.
Nothing against the Pogues or any of the other Irish bands, because they're good bands and I can see why they are. But you don't. It doesn't affirm your Irish heritage to like them.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, go ahead, go to a Flogging Molly concert. That's fine. It's really fun.
I bet it would be really fun.
It'd be totally fun, but don't think that you're there as some sort of like insight to your
of your Irishness.
Right, exactly. Please don't.
Okay, yeah. The end. We're going to alienate every single.
People
People are going to hate us.
I know.